Let me say this at my ear. Welcome to my live stream. Okay. Give me a second, y'all. Let me start a poll real quick. You heard. Where? I don't know. I'm afraid of the water and stuff. What made you ask? What made you? I'm on a live. What made you ask? Wait, don't say no names. Oh my gosh, I should have muted it. Don't say any names. You said somebody's going on the cruise? When? What? Okay. We'll talk about it, okay? I should have muted that. I was trying to do my poll, so I couldn't mute it at the time. So hopefully they didn't hear it. Okay. These glasses are irritating me. Goodness. I need to take out my hair anyway. I should have taken out my hair on live. Hello, everybody. So I want to. Hey, Martin Johnson, welcome back. Hi. So I want to apologize to the spirit of Naziah Harris. I was saying her name wrong. The entire video is my mistake. And a couple of times I said the wrong last name. I know how to pronounce her name. It's just that at the moment, I think I was just so focused on what happened. I was saying her name completely wrong the last live. Her name is the way it looks. Naziah Harris. Not Naziah. I kept saying Naziah. Or I probably would say Naziah. But her name is Naziah Harris. So let's continue talking about the case. I'm going to read something that I found online, and then we're going to talk about it. I should never wear this bra, y'all. This sports bra gets on my nerves. I meant to exercise, and that's why I put on a sports bra, but it's not giving right now, y'all. So let's read a little something, then we're going to talk about the Naziah Harris case. Thank you to anyone who's in the live stream right now. Thank you to anyone who is joining. Thank you to anyone who's going to watch the playback. TGIF, today's Friday and I'm happy. And yeah. All right, so let's give you guys a refresher on the case if you don't know anything about it. So this is from CBS News. It says Detroit man charged over missing 13-year-old Naziah Harris appears in court. It says a Detroit man charged in the murder of missing 13-year-old Naziah Harris appeared in court Friday morning. A not guilty plea. So this is fresh news, y'all. A not guilty plea was entered on behalf of Jarvis Butts, a 42-year-old man charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and child sexually abusive activity. Butts is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Naziah, who was last seen getting off her school bus at the corner of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit on January 9th, 2024. And also, y'all, in the last live I did make a mistake and say, I said June. I said June instead of January. And I meant January, but June came out of my mouth. I don't know if it's because they both were J's. But anyway. So let me say it again. Butts is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Naziah, who was last seen getting off her school bus at the corner of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit on January 9th, 2024. Her body has never been found, okay? During Friday's court hearing, a calendar conference date was set for March 7th at 9 a.m. A calendar conference allows the legal teams the opportunity to discuss trial logistics, including motion hearing and motion filing dates. Butts also has been charged with the sexual abuse of 2 other girls in separate cases. On January 9th, Judge Aaliyah Sabri sent the case over to the Third Circuit Court for trial following 4 days of testimony and a preliminary examination. "You're the monster in this whole picture," Sabri told Butts in court last week. She did did deserve love from her parents and everyone who was in her life. She was ignored, she was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that. She wanted someone to love her, and she will never know what that feels like. I pray for the healing of all the victims and the young girls and possibly boys who have come in contact with you. The case has grabbed the public's attention, including that of celebrities, like Detroit rapper Skilla Baby, who has offered to cover the cost of a funeral for Naziah to provide her family closure. Naziah's adult cousin Roxy confirmed to CBS News Detroit that several celebrities have reached out to her, including Skilla Baby. "My goal is to make sure the Naziah Harris story reach worldwide, and it reached worldwide because this isn't only happening in the city of Detroit, but it's happening everywhere," Roxy said. "Now more women and more young girls are speaking up, and that was my ultimate goal for not only Naziah to get justice, but for every young girl and every young woman who has ever been sexually abused to get justice." Roxy is working to establish a foundation in Naziah's name to support other young victims of abuse. I want to show you guys the criminal who abused her, if you guys haven't already looked at the story. Hi, Dipak, Shohan, how are you? So, Jarvis Butts. So, the criminal is right here. As you can tell, that guy right here, he's the criminal. That's the criminal right there. And this is the victim. She was only 13 years old when that happened to her. So, there just needs to be like an everyday. Hold on for a second. Hold on. There just needs to be an everyday PSA to families, to women. This is not just a Detroit issue. This is not just a Naziah Harris family issue. Every day, girls are being abused in their own homes, and people who are supposed to be protecting them are not protecting them. They're turning the other way. They're acting like they don't see anything. They're ignoring red flags, and it's just not okay. Naziah, I feel so bad for her because, like I was saying earlier in my other live, her mother looks, apparently, from what I heard, her mother was on drugs. So her mother was just a drug addict. So she wasn't taking care of her daughter. The father, I believe, was killed. Then she ended up living with her grandmother, I believe, and then ended up living with the aunt. So the aunt her name is Shannon Harris. From the last time I checked, the aunt whose boyfriend abused Naziah, her name is Shannon Harris. And she had children with a predator. This woman just looks so desperate. She looks so thirsty for a man that she was willing to take on a sexual predator. And it was on paper that he's a sexual predator. He's on a sex offender registry. He even, from what I heard, he verbally told her, like, "Hey, like, I have these charges against me. I am a sexual he told her his past. I don't know if he told her everything, but either way, if a man mentions to me that he's accused of abusing children or he abused children, I'm not messing with you like that. Like, what?" So she took the man in and let him live with her, and he was abusing Naziah under her nose. He would take her to the basement. They would basically, from what I'm seeing, it looks like while the aunt and everybody else was sleeping in the home, the abuser Jarvis would text Naziah and say, "Hey, meet me downstairs in the basement. Hi, Muhammad. Hello." He would just text her, like, "Meet me in the basement." It's times when he'd be like, "Go down there, don't have no clothes on." And one time he texts her a very explicit thing, like saying, "Can you please suck my D?" to a 11, 12, 13-year-old girl. This grown 40-something-year-old man told her, asked her, can he, and he just sounds so just thirsty and perverted. You have a whole grown woman in your bed that's supposed to be your woman, and you're going downstairs to meet a girl because you're a sexual predator. And the fact that the aunt didn't notice that he was missing at times, or the fact that she thought it was just a regular uncle niece relationship, is sick to me. I don't know if she thought he was a pretty boy, and she thought that he was too good to do stuff like that. And when it comes to abuse, it's not about like people will probably look at him like, why would you even do that to a child? Because you're not an ugly looking dude. Why would you do that? But predators don't care. It doesn't matter what they look like. They're gonna abuse. When they have an opportunity, they're gonna abuse. It's about power, it's about control. And he's not attractive to me. He's a very ugly person because that's an ugly thing to do. To abuse a child and just abuse your power, knowing that that little girl just wanted love and care. But like I said before, if you put a child in the way of an abuser, he's gonna take advantage. Like I was saying in one of my other lives, there are abusers who straight up tell you, the honest ones anyway, there are abusers who will straight up tell you, like, if you put me around a child, I will abuse them. There are abusers who know their limits, they know what they're capable of. And those people need to be never around children, should be locked up. But there's abusers out there who are not going to come out and say, I love children, I want to be with children. But you gotta watch their moves. You gotta keep an eye on them. The fact that Jarvis was able to even come out of prison the first time from abusing a child is sick to me. I don't think judges, I don't think the legal system is having a good idea. Lawmakers, I don't think they're having a good idea about child development, about the brain, about abuse, about how it's going to linger with you. So even if Naziah survived this abuse, even if he didn't take her life, and he took her life because apparently he found out that she was pregnant. She told him that she missed her period, and so he panicked and decided to take her life. He picked her from school, and he was the last person to see her alive, and then he basically just took her life because once people found out that she's pregnant, they're like, well, who's the father? And he's going to be tested, and it's going to be automatically he's guilty. So I don't understand the mind of criminals, because you're gonna get in trouble either way. So you would rather get in trouble for the murder and the sexual abuse. Why can't you just do the right thing and stop abusing the girl? But no, criminals ain't gonna do the right thing. But like I was saying before, even if Naziah survived, even if he didn't kill her, and finally the truth came out, she would have to be in some type of counseling, some type of therapy. She would need lifetime mental health support. This is not something that she was ever going to forget about. And she would need a professional to teach her that what happened to you is wrong. What what went on in your home was wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You're just a child. Ignore all the people who say things like, she knew what, you knew what you're doing. You're fast, you're grown. Because you have a lot of sick people in the world. You got a lot of victim blamers who will blame a child for coming on to an adult. Oh, it was not my fault. I told her to stop. As an adult, you have the responsibility to do the right thing. And there's no child who's coming on to no adult. The adult is the one who's grooming the child and turning the child out, and then want to blame the child for something. That's why you just can't have any mercy on predators, because the sick games they play. They're not going to come out and be like, oh, I was wrong, what I did. They're always going to blame the child. Just narcissistic, just psychopaths, just sociopaths. They just, you just can't help them. Hi, FNS. Hi. I'm just here talking about the Naziah Harris case. I'm not sure you heard about it. It happened in Detroit, Michigan. A young girl was sexually abused for years by her aunt's boyfriend. He would just take complete advantage of her. And based on the text messages, he had her feeling like she was in some type of sick relationship. Like she was calling him bae and saying stuff like, are you mad at me? And just very inappropriate language. Like I think one of the text messages I seen or heard, he was like, oh yeah, I really put it on you. This sickness, y'all. It's just so many predators out there right now in our homes. Y'all, if you have a predator in your family, please don't associate with them. Please don't support them. It's just too many people giving predators like a pass. Like, oh, that's my uncle. Oh, that's my cousin. Oh, that's my brother. I don't care who you are. If you're a predator, you're a predator. At certain point, okay, so yes, sometimes when people are abused as children, they end up abusing. But you have to get some help. You cannot go into your adult life abusing children because somebody abused you. But some people are really mentally unstable that they're not going to know right from wrong. They're not going to do the right thing. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they don't have the common sense enough to do the right thing. They're just going to keep abusing, and they're going to take any opportunities to abuse children. They give Drake a pass. I mean, I thought they were trying to call him out with that whole Kendrick Lamar stuff. You know what I'm saying? That something something A minor, but it's I will never understand how abusers have so much support, how abusers have people who give them a chance. Like, child abusers need to be shunned from society. Like, they should have some type of like symbol that abusers have to wear. Like, it to me it goes beyond the sex offender registry. At this point, abusers need to have to wear a certain color shirt or a certain color symbol so everyone who comes in contact with them, everyone who sees them knows that they're a child abuser. Like, that needs to be a thing, y'all. If you want to be in society, you need to be marked and labeled. But at the same time, I don't think they need to be in society because they're going to find a way to get out of it. They're going to find a way to find a child, find a victim. Predatory people like Jarvis Butts does not deserve any freedom. They will reoffend. It's like in their nature to abuse. It's just really animalistic sickness, and praying for them is not going to work, y'all. I know some people are just really religious. Oh, I'm going to pray for him. I'm going to pray for him. Prayer does not work, okay? And it's not going to work to um, erase abusive tendencies. Like, a sexual abuser is a sexual abuser. But we just need more women to heal. So you won't be allowing sexual predators in your home because, like, the aunt of Naziah, she allowed Jarvis in her home and she had multiple children with him. She allowed him around the niece. He was picking her up from school, doing all kind of stuff. Like, it just reminds me of the Stephen Stearns case. If you guys don't know that case, Madeline Soto was sexually abused for years by her mother's boyfriend. This case happened in Florida, and she was killed last February. So it's almost a year since Madeline's. So it's basically similar to the time of Naziah and Madeline Soto was basically going through the same thing around the same time. Madeline was killed in February of 2024, and Naziah was killed in January of 2024. So they both were being abused by grown men, and the women in their lives who were supposed to be looking out for them, protecting them, was more concerned about them and having a man in their bed than they were about the safety of children. And women like that need to be shunned from society. Women like that need to be called out. If you are allowing predators in your home, you are ignoring red flags, you are thirsty, you're desperate, and your self-esteem is so low in the toilet that you can't see clearly, you shouldn't even be allowed to have children in your home. Jennifer Soto should have never been allowed to have should never been allowed to have custody of Madeline Soto. Madeline had a dad, and he lived like in Texas or something like that. And I just feel like the dad is partly to blame because how are you so many hours and miles away from your daughter, and you're not checking up on her to make sure she has a good, positive role model in her life? Like, no one cared about Madeline, in my opinion. Like, I'm sure some, maybe one or two family members cared, but they didn't care enough to me because the signs were there. The signs were there. Stephen Stearns was always around, always just involved. Like, Jennifer Soto, the mother of Madeline Soto, she would allow Stephen to sleep in the same bed with her daughter. At sometimes he would only have boxers on, boxers and a t-shirt. There are times where they always sleep in the same bed, and then there are times when she would be so tired and be like, "Oh, can you guys just go upstairs and sleep?" So a grown woman will allow a grown man to sleep in the same bed with her daughter. And Naziah and Madeline Soto were the same age when they died. Nazaya was 13 years old when she died, and Madeline was 13 when they died, and I have a daughter around that age, and I will never understand how someone could be so comfortable with grown men being all up in their daughter's faces like that. You know, there's some perverted, sick men out there. They're just signs that women choose to ignore. I'm suspicious of everybody. I don't trust anybody. There's some things I could tell, but I'm not gonna, yeah, there's some things I could say, but I just don't trust anyone. When I have tried to give people chances, I didn't trust them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't, because like I said before in one of my other lives, I would be very upset with myself if my child came to me and said, "Mom, so and so touched on me. Mom, when you were gone, so and so did that to me." I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how to live with myself. You know what I'm trying to say? So I do my best to talk to my children about predators. I do my best to make sure that I'm not having any predators around my children. Um, like I said before, like, we can't save our children from everything, but you have to do your best. When you have children, you can't be lax. You can't be just chilling and think that you can trust everybody. Like, oh, he's cool. He's cool. Or, oh, he did that before. That's so past. People have a pattern. If someone has a pattern of being attracted to kids, they have a pattern of touching kids, looking at kids, just saying inappropriate comments, too friendly, having kids sit on their laps and tickling, and just obsessed with children, always want to be around children, very insistent on meeting your children. Like, it's just a lot of red flags that women choose to ignore. And I don't play that. I don't play that. And I'm not giving anybody a pass, because you can't be so thirsty for a man that you just throw, like I said before, caution to the wind. If you want to be with a sexual predator, why even have the children around? Like, okay, so say there are some women who truly are attracted to sexual predators. Why bring children into it though? Why you have to have a child with them? Why do you have to have a child in the same home? So I really do feel like many people, like how many people are saying, that the aunts, the grandmother, whoever was allowing Jarvis Butts to be around Nazaya Harris, they get in trouble too. Some type of neglect charge, something needs to happen. It's That's why these people continue to, that's why some women, I'm not saying men don't bring predators too. There are men, there are single dads or single men, males, uncles too, who bring women who are predators into the home as well. So I'm not just saying that only women do this, but there are too many women who have low self-esteem, low self-worth, not healing from their traumas, not getting the help that they need, and they're just dating from a place of hurt and pain. So they're picking who they think they can get. If any man looks at them, they're jumping for joy. If a man give them attention, they're like, "Oh, he's giving me attention." So I just, at some point you gotta grow up, dog. And so if you're a woman who's bringing a predator into your home, I feel like you should be held liable. And I'm saying that for me too. If I bring a predator into my home, which is not gonna happen because I don't play that, but say something slipped through the crack. If anything ever happened to my child, I need to be held accountable, because I am supposed to be my child's number one protector, right? So if I'm letting a predator in my home, it's my fault. Yes, the person who abuses a child is like number one guilty for doing that stuff. But as a parent, you're supposed to be the guard. You're supposed to be like, okay, you gotta be the background checks. You gotta talk to them. You gotta look at behaviors, activities. But like I said, there's some women who have very, very low self-esteem, and they're kind of like taking what they can get. And so they're scraping for the bottom of the barrel men, taking men that's straight out of prison, who has a long rap sheet. And I'm not saying men who have been to prison or jail are like, all trash, because there's some people who, made a mistake. But when it comes to sexual predatory crimes, I don't give second chances to that. I can see you wanting to maybe give a second chance to someone who got caught with a bag of weed or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or someone who I don't know, driving without a light, whatever crimes that are non-violent and not of sexual nature. I understand why you would want to maybe give them a chance. But when they're in prison for murder, they're in prison for a rape, sexual assault, abuse, those things, you cannot play with that. Like, it's also reminding me of the case with Faith Green, y'all. Faith Green was a woman. It happened years ago, back in like 2016 or something like that, probably earlier. She was a single mom. She had 2 children from a prior relationship. Her father was a pastor at this church, and he introduced her to a felon. He was in prison for murdering his pregnant wife, and he claimed he killed her because she attacked him, and he had to basically do what he had to do. Anyway, he spent like 20 years in prison, and he should have been in life. So he came out of prison, met up with Faith Green. What was his name again? I forgot the dude's name. But if you look up Faith Green, his name will pop up. Is it Gregory Green? I think his name was Gregory Green. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Anyway, so Faith Green married a criminal. I'm not sure if she knew his background or not, but how do you not know that when you got kids? Like, when it comes to introducing kids into your home, you need to know if they have a criminal background. That's like a must. That's like if you want to play Russian roulette with your own life, do your thing, girl. But when you're bringing them into your home, you have to do better checks. So yeah, Faith Green brought in a criminal into her home. I don't know if she knew that he murdered his wife, or she believed his story of why she murdered her. But if you tell me you murder anybody, baby, back it up. Back it up. Find somebody else. Get somebody else to do it. So anyway, so she married him. They had 2 children. He came increasingly angry. He just had this, he has a problem. So I guess he was becoming very jealous of Faith's older children that was with somebody else, and he would be like, I don't want them around. Like, I just want us to be us four. And she would say things like, no, I can't do that. Those are my children. So long story short, y'all, one day it looks like he woke them all up when they were sleeping. He took everybody down to the basement, but he left the 2 younger kids sleeping, the 2 biological kids of his, and he took like some type of pipe and took it from the garage and basically made the exhaust from the exhaust from the car get into the baby girl's bedroom. Either he made the exhaust go into the bedroom, or he picked them up and put them in the car, and he made them die by the gas. Is it carbon monoxide or something, y'all? Whatever the gas is that comes from the exhaust, whatever gas comes from cars, he made it kill the 2 children while they were sleeping. And he took a gun and shot the 2 older children that were not biologically his stepchildren. And then he sliced Faith Green's face, and I believe he may have shot her in the foot. I can't remember. But either way, he shot the children. I think it was execution style, right in front of her. It's like he wanted her to suffer. He wanted her to see that the children were, murdered right in front of him. And based on a comment he made at his court, at the sentencing hearing, he said something like, only God can judge me, and I was only looking for a faithful wife. So he was insinuating that he killed and went crazy and switched because she was not faithful. Whatever, dude. You're just sick in the head. So when he killed them, y'all, he actually called the police himself and waited outside. The same thing he did when he killed his first wife. Okay. So yes, I'm supposed to be talking about the Nazaria Harris case, but y'all, I just want to go back and this basically the point is, ladies, we got to be careful with the men we allow in our lives. I have made mistakes with men. Trust and believe. I am not here saying like I'm perfect and I've never made a mistake, but it's like when you have children, you're supposed to get more like paranoid about certain things. Like, it's like some of these women are not paranoid enough for me, but I've seen plenty of comments from other women who are paranoid just like me, and we're not down with that. Like, there's some women who are saying like, I would rather be single for the rest of my life, or I'd rather be single till my children are 18 because I'm not trying to introduce nobody to my child. And it's scary out here. Yes, there are some great stepdads out there that's doing the doggone thing, that are not abusive, that are not sexual predators. Every man that women date are not abusers and predators. There are some good men out there. I don't know who they are, but they're out there somewhere, okay? But when you're dating, when you're single, you have to make sure you're dating for the right reasons. Am I dating because I'm desperate? Am I dating because I'm horny and thirsty and need a man in my body, in my bed? Date because you want a man, not because you need a man. I think that's the first thing. I think a lot of women choose poor men because they feel like They need to have a man to fill a void. They need a man to be in their bed every night. They need a man to tell them they're pretty and stuff like that. Um, I grew up with women. I knew women who was always thirsty for the D, thirsty for the man. Like once the men come around, they don't even see the children no more. Um, it's like the children are secondary. I think mothers who really care or women who really care about the safety and protection of children are they've been through things before and they know what it's like. And there's some women who have never been abused before and they're still protective, okay? I'm glad for those kind of women, but sometimes you have been there, done that, and you don't want that to happen to another child. You know what I'm saying? And there's some women who just have no maternal instinct inside of their body. There's some women who never really bonded with their own children and they just feel so disconnected with their children. So of course they're not going to be very protective of children. Of course they're not going to be very protective of their own child, and that's very scary. It just needs to be more things done before people should get pregnant. But anyone can get pregnant at any time, and it's just very sad. It's sad that very mentally unstable people get pregnant and have children, or very mentally unstable very mentally unstable people bring children into their home that's not even theirs, and they just can't even protect the child. I just wish the aunt would have just gave Naziah up to someone else who would have been able to protect her. Anytime you have a young girl or young children around grown-ups that you don't really know well, or grown-ups that have a sketchy environment, they shouldn't even be around the child. And like I always would say, it's okay to date. I get it. I get it. But sometimes it's okay to date away from your child. You can go on dates with someone. You can go visit their own home, meet up somewhere else. You don't have to bring every man around your child. It's too scary out here, y'all. Naziah did not deserve what happened to her. And I just really hope that Jarvis gets life in prison without the possibility of parole. I don't know if Detroit has I don't know if Detroit has the death penalty, but I don't. The death penalty is a thing. I get it. In a situation like this, I will see why he needs to be killed. But at the same time, I feel like he needs to sit in prison and just rot. But he's so mentally gone that I don't even think sitting in prison will make him learn anything, because he's a habitual offender. You know what I'm trying to say? There's some people who can sit in prison for years and actually learn, actually grow, actually heal, read books, be a better person, mentor. But Jarvis is a lost cause, and men like him are lost cause. And so people like him is a good candidate for the death penalty, because it's like he's just a waste of space, waste of time, waste of resources. You know how much money prisoners, it gets put into prisoners every year? Like, it's a lot of money. And people like Jarvis doesn't even deserve air. And who am I to say someone deserves life or air? But when you harm children and you are ruining people's lives, you don't deserve to be happy. And like I was saying before earlier, even if Naziah survived this tragedy, even if Madeline Soto survived what happened to her, they would need a lifetime of mental health support, because you'll never forget about those images. I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse, and I can never forget what happened to me. I always remember what happened. Yes, it's not every moment, every day, but there's times you're just doing random things, and that memory will pop up, and all you could think about is like, dang, like, why did that happen to me? Like, that's such a shame. But when you have adults who don't care about children, when you have adults who don't value children, adults who don't value the safety and care of children, children are going to be abused, because predators are always going to be around. As long as there's an opportunity, a predator is going to predator is going to do what they do, right? So it's like predators know when a child is not being protected. A predator knows when a child is not being watched. Predators are very slick, they're very calculated. That's why they're called predators, sexual predators. They prey on you. They watch your every move. They know who's going, who's there, who's that. They know the little tricks to do. They know how to ask you questions like, oh, so tell me about that. Oh, you like candy, huh? oh, here's a lollipop. They start to groom you, they start to love bomb you, and then they start to just ask for favors, and then next you know, you're doing a child is doing all kind of stuff with a predator, but and the child don't even know what's going on, but no one is watching while the child is being preyed on, while the child is being abused. So like I said before, the world is full of predators, and the world does not have enough adults looking out for children. And I'm one of those adults who look out for children, whether it's my child or somebody else's child. I don't play those games. I don't play those. Um, I don't even like when adults be tickling kids. If it's not your own child, I don't even like when I don't like the whole tickling situation. To be real with you, you know. And I know there's families who be like, "Girl, be quiet. You're overreacting." But I don't. I don't like. I just feel like certain things should just not happen. I just feel like some people just get really too comfortable, and I just don't trust a lot of people. So I just feel like I'd rather be safe than sorry. And anytime I see a child even looking a little bit uncomfortable, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna say something like, "Is everything okay?" Like, you know. And I feel like some adults are not picking up on children being uncomfortable, looking uncomfortable, feeling uncomfortable. Children are looking for the adult to step in, and adults are just turning to be like, "Oh, this is okay. Oh, so and so's over there. Oh, where's so and so? Oh, she's back there with so and so. Oh, it's not, they playing a game." Just making everything so regular and casual, like it's normal for kids to be hanging out with a grown man like that. Like, it's sick to me, y'all. It's sick how people normalize predators. They support predators. They ignore things. They give them second chances. I really believe that sexual predators, child sexual predators, you know, pedophiles, they should be on a whole nother planet. They need to be shipped off to a whole nother planet where there's no children around, there's no women around, there's no one around. Um, yeah, you know, and they're the only type of people I don't believe that really deserve, like I said, a second chance. They don't deserve life. They don't deserve air. Because why would you want to chance them reoffending? You guys go ahead and check out like To Catch a Predator, and you see how they think. They are just sick people, and they could be any position. They could be any position. They could be judges, they could be attorneys, they could be the bus driver. Predators are in all different kind of professions, so you can't put it past anybody. And they're gonna take the opportunity any chance they get. And especially when they're always around children, they really like children. And yes, there are good people who like children, but I feel like when someone is in a profession or in an area or in a situation where they're always around children, you should be on high alert. And I feel like people are just way too trusting, and I don't like it. If I even feel a little bit uncomfortable, I'm gonna definitely look into it. But like I always say before, like you definitely do need to talk to your children, y'all. We have to talk to our children about good touch, bad touch, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, so they'll know. So they will know. So even if a child doesn't really know what a predator is, they should know that no one should be touching me in my vagina, no one should be touching my penis, no one should be touching my butt. You know what I'm saying? Talk to your children and keep it frank. Don't be all cutesy with it. Keep it straight up and let them know that they could tell you anything. Make your child feel like it's a safe space. Don't be always talking about something, "Oh, you're lying. I don't believe you." If a child don't feel like you're going to believe them, they're not going to tell you anything. So they're going to be getting abused for years and not going to tell you anything because they're going to think you're going to yell at them and blame them for everything. And some women are so thirsty and desperate for a man, they worry that they're going to lose the man. They worried they're gonna lose the man if the child is coming out telling the truth. Like, Auntie so and so touched me. Girl, be quiet. What are you talking about, girl? He probably is playing with you. There's some women who have such low self-esteem and so sick in the head that they will tolerate anything just to keep a man. I can go on and on, y'all, but I'm gonna come off the live now. My daughter wants a smoothie. Well, we want a smoothie. I'm about to make a smoothie, and then we're gonna watch Gilmore Girls, I think, for a little bit. But y'all, there's no perfect parent, there's no perfect person anywhere, but we got to do the best we can, y'all. You don't want any child around you coming and saying so and so was touching on me while you were in the other room, while you were sleeping. You got to be on high alert. You got to be on high alert, y'all. Okay, children, um especially when you were abused as a child. Like, I don't get how people get so lax and comfortable, especially when they were abused as well. Like, you would think it would make people more heightened, but some people just really have mental health issues. The trauma really kind of, I don't know, just turned off that part of their brain that's logical. and they just turn a blind eye to everything, and I'm not okay with it. I don't care what you've been through. When a child is in your presence, when you are responsible for children, you need to be on your job. You need to be paying attention to the signs. If you don't know the signs of a predator, if you don't know what a predator, Google it. Like, we are in the age of technology. There's no excuses. Like I said before, if you don't know about a man, look him up. Get a background check, hire a detective, whatever you need to do. There's no excuses for inviting predators into your home. It's so many men on earth that are not predators, but some women are just inviting the ones that are predators into your home, and it's just like the children are suffering, y'all. Y'all, it's never that serious, okay? Single women, please get adult uh toys or whatever you need to help you. It's better to do that than to take in a predator into your home. Okay? It's never that deep. Please go to an adult shop if you need to. This is TMI. I don't care if it's TMI, but a lot of women need to be using devices instead of taking in grown walking men who are predators into their home. Okay? It's like, I don't know, some people don't feel like they're too good for certain contraptions. Okay, it's better to do that than to make a mistake with the wrong man. Trust and believe. Okay, trust and believe. Being single is not as bad as people make it seem. There's some people who are sick in the head who will make fun of people who being single, yet they're miserable, yet they're unhappy, yet they're unstable, yet they're toxic, all those bad things. But oh, I got a man. Well, I got a girl. That's why you single. I got a girl. You single. Okay, but happy people who are in relationships don't go around saying, na 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 na, I got a girlfriend, I got a man, and you don't. Girl, you're not that happy. Happy people are too busy being happy than to be teasing people around. Y'all, anyways, this chat probably went, my little chat probably went kind of off, but rest in peace to Naziah Harris. What happened to her shouldn't have happened to her. Rest in peace to Madeline Soto. What happened to her shouldn't have happened to her. More women need to be held accountable for the actions or the lack of actions. You know, if the predators who are abusing children are getting in trouble, so should the people who are supposed to be watching the children. So should the parents, so should the providers, so should the guardians get in trouble. I'm not saying they should be locked up the same amount of time as the predators, but something needs to happen. I don't know what it needs to be. And it's almost like the aunt, I'm like, how is she even going to be able to have other children in her home? She's susceptible to bring another predator into her home. If a woman is in a situation where she allowed a predator into her home, I feel like somebody needs to be involved to make sure the other children are not being abused, make sure the other children are not being vulnerable to other predators coming to the home. And that's my opinion. But anyway, I just want to bring more awareness, like everyone else is bringing, about the Naziah Harris case. Is a very tragic situation. You guys go ahead and Google it and YouTube it. I even shared a live that somebody did on my community tab, and I really would love for Nancy Grace to pick up the story. I would love to hear Nancy say breaking news tonight and talk about Jarvis and everything that happened. Like, Nancy goes in, and I love how hard she goes for victims, especially for children. So I would love for Nancy to talk about the story. I'm going to see if I can find her email or somehow. I don't know how she gets these stories, but I have not heard Nancy Grace talk about it yet. I hope she does soon. Hi, Boober Serverin. All right, so I'm going to end my poll, y'all. Have you heard about Naziah Harris? And 29% of you said yes, and 71% of you said no. So it looks like most of you did not know, but if you didn't know, go ahead and look it up, y'all. Google is your friend. Google is your friend. And go ahead and check out YouTube too, y'all. So I'm going to come off. I've been talking for a long time. I want to do my part on this platform to spread awareness. As a survivor of childhood abuse, I can't go on without talking about this. I had to talk about this case. I've talked about it before, talked about it earlier, and I'm talking about it again. As a survivor, I want to support anything that would help someone or prevent anyone else being abused. I want to use my story, my experience, my point of view to help any way that I can. You know, I'm helping my children. I want to help any other child or any other adults. But there's more to come for me, y'all. More to come. Anyways, I'm gonna come off. I'm gonna make a smoothie and Gilmore Girls, I think. Yeah. All right, y'all. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you later. You guys didn't really come on and talk about the topic with me, but it's okay. It's one of those nights. I honestly wish I didn't have to come off live earlier because you guys were really more chatty early. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I'm gonna talk. Sometimes you're not gonna talk. It's all right, y'all. It's okay. I'm a talker. I can talk all day. All right, I'm coming off now. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.